Hi, I'd like to talk with you about managing your stress. This is part one of a two-part video. My name is Joe Cortez. I'm a licensed clinical mental health counselor. I've given this talk many times in both public and professional settings. If you want to reach more about me and my credentials, you can visit this website and it can tell you more about me. The goals of this talk are as follows. First of all, to understand basics of how stress develops. Secondly, identify physical and emotional signs of mismanaged stress. And thirdly, understand how stress can best be managed. Interestingly, about 70% and more of visits to physicians' offices can be traced to stress-related components. This includes things like fatigue, somatization, overuse of alcohol, food, tobacco, and drugs, reduced effectiveness of medications, reductions of the ability to fight off infection, worsening of chronic illness, lack of adherence to medical plans, and unhealthy coping strategies. Stress, a definition. The pressure placed on people by life events. Pretty simple. It's inevitable. It can be motivating, destructive, or neutral. Responses to stress are highly individualized. Each person has their own reaction to different stressful events. Evidence of the effects of stress are becoming well documented through research. Then there's management, the releasing and the relieving process. It rarely eliminates stress. It can reduce stress. Most people already have many coping skills in place. It's overload that wears down those skills and can lead to problems in a person's life. Also, management things are, these are not easy to do. Understanding is simply not enough. It often requires lifestyle change. Management methods can be seen as extreme by some people, and it's highly individualized. Each person has their own management skills, and they have to construct their own plan. Research evidence on management is much less than the research on the effects of stress, but there is still some very solid evidence. So we know about the fight, flight, and freeze syndrome. However, this is not enough. It's not this simple. Let me go back to this. So one of the images in my mind is after 9/11, somebody shot a video looking at the Twin Towers. And it was down a street looking at the Twin Towers. And some people were running toward the towers. Some people were running away from the towers. And some people were just standing there, unable to do either. Okay. And this is the fight. People who were running toward the towers were ready to take it on, find out if they could help. Some people flee, so they were running away, trying to get safe. And other people were just frozen. They were unable to move because this was such a horrific sight. So let's talk about how this evolves. Life consists of a series of events. This might be going to work. It might be staying at home, taking care of the kids. It might be buying a new car, getting a new dog. It might be just about anything that we do in our daily life things, okay? It might even include some extreme things like losing a loved one, or losing a job, or getting married, maybe getting a divorce. These are all things that cause stress in a person's life. This leads to individualized responses, okay? Each person to each of these life events has an individual response. And it depends, the response depends on support systems. The better the support systems, the better we can manage the stress, the circumstances that are going on, our own personal temperament. We all have individual temperaments that affect how we respond to stressors, the needs that we have at the moment, perceptions of what's going on, And also, this is important on our previous life experiences. What happened to us, maybe similar things that happened to us that we respond to. This leads to emotional responses, whether we're sad, happy, motivated, afraid, the things that go on in our life that cause the response to stress. This leads to physical changes, emotional changes, and maladaptive behaviors. And let's talk about these. So, an example is a sunny day. Let's say we are on vacation and there's a sunny day. We feel good about that because, hey, we're on vacation. We're going to enjoy this nice, pleasant day. On the other hand, if we're working and we know that it's sunny outside and we'd rather be outside than working, we might be a little bit irritated that we're missing out on this really pretty day. If, for example, we have skin cancer, a sunny day might be scary for us, and we might be afraid that the sun may exacerbate or worsen our skin cancer problem. One more example. Let's say we're a farmer and we're in the middle of a drought and we watch our crops dry up and shrivel up, and we're not going to be able to take them to harvest. This sunny day may cause us to think about suicide. So the sunny day does have different effects based on different people's circumstances. Three types of changes. We have physiologic changes, we have emotional changes, and we have maladaptive behaviors. Physical changes. The impact of stress on the body is fairly well understood. There is a rapid, almost instantaneous response which activates our nervous system. These affects our health. Things like increase in muscle tension, respiration rate, heart rate, blood pressure. Our blood vessels constrict to the stomach, skin, kidneys, and reproductive organs. Increase in perspiration, sugar production by the liver, production of gastric acids. Also, stored glycogen converted to glucose also increases. Other impacts physically: increase in cholesterol, epinephrine production, cortisol, red corpuscles and platelets, fatigue. Our digestion stops or is severely impaired. We have a decrease in our immunologic response, and we have a decrease in blood flow to the skin and intestines. The emotional changes are increase in depression, anxiety, ruminating, obsessional behaviors, a worsening of PTSD if it exists, and a worsening of emotional disorders if they exist. There's also maladaptive coping skills: smoking, drinking, drug abuse, prescription drug abuse, unhealthy eating, over, under, or poor nutrition. Aggression, anger, and violence often increases. Self-destructive behaviors such as acting out, spending more money than we have, sexual behaviors that are not healthy, a variety of things that are self-destructive. Distorted, disruptive thinking also can increase. Decreased in productivity, which is something that companies are very worried about. There's little disagreement with the concept that emotions trigger the stress response. Little disagreement about this. There is disagreement on how this occurs. So there's some theories. Some theories say events cause emotion that cause effects of stress. Other theories say events cause thoughts that cause emotions that cause the effects of stress. Certain temperaments are predisposed to emotions, thoughts that cause the effects of stress. We all have certain temperaments, and these predispose us in different ways. There's this serenity prayer. It's connected with Alcoholics Anonymous, but you don't have to be a member of Alcoholics Anonymous or even be an alcoholic to realize the wisdom in this statement. God, grant me the serenity to accept and cope with the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. We can change circumstances. The ways we can do this is determine what can and can't be changed. We explore options for change, and it may require taking some risks in how to make these changes. Something like assertiveness training to get our needs met, being able to say no, or telling people when they pushed our limits too far. Organization improvements, time management, improving our communication skills, telling other people what we need and what we don't need. And finally, leaving the situation, which usually should be the last resort. Change reactions to the circumstances, gaining insight into what's going on and understanding it better. Positive thinking, realizing that there are some good things about what's going on. Eliminating the irrational beliefs in our thinking patterns and our spiritual beliefs, if those are present. There's coping skills in a mnemonic that I developed called ERACE: exercise, aerobic, aggression, and recreational. Relaxation in the form of music, hot baths, hot showers, stargazing, or formal like yoga, transcendental meditation, or progressive muscle relaxation. Other enjoyable activities like arts, crafts, hobbies, buying, humor, vacations, sex, gardening, fishing, etc. Many of these. Supportive relationships are critical. Family, friends, church, neighborhoods, work, therapy, all play a part in helping us cope. And then emotional expression, being able to show our feelings, talking about our feelings, and writing feelings in very safe and controlled circumstances. This erased topic is the subject of part 2 of my talks. There's some readings that you might be interested in that help you understand managing stress better. I would really love to hear if you have reactions to this talk. You can send me an email or just go on YouTube and write a reaction. I hope that they're useful for you and would love to hear what you have to say. Thanks very much.